Once upon a time in a land far away lived a woman named Naomi. She had a kind heart and a big smile. Naomi moved to a new country with her husband and her 2 sons. Her sons grew up and got married. They married 2 wonderful women named Orpah and Ruth. Ruth loved Naomi very much. They were like a big, happy family. They would laugh together and share stories. Everything seemed just right. It was a happy time full of sunshine and songs. They thought the happy days would last forever and ever, but then a great sadness came. It was like a big dark cloud covered their sunny sky. Naomi's husband passed away, and then her 2 sons also passed away. Oh, it was so very sad. Naomi, Orpah, and Ruth were left all alone. Their hearts were broken into a million tiny pieces. The laughter in their home turned to tears. The world felt quiet and empty now. Naomi felt old and tired and very, very sad. She missed her husband and her boys more than words could say. She decided she must go back to her own country, a place called Bethlehem. Naomi gathered Orpah and Ruth. She hugged them tight. "You should go back to your own families," she said with tears in her eyes. "Go back to your mother's homes. I'm going back to my home far away. You are young and have your whole lives ahead of you." Naomi wanted what was best for them, even though her heart was breaking to say goodbye. She kissed them, and they all cried together. It was a very hard goodbye. It felt like the end of their story together. But God had a secret plan, a wonderful plan they didn't know about yet. Orpah kissed Naomi goodbye and went back to her family. But Ruth did not move. She held on to Naomi's hand. "Don't ask me to leave you," Ruth said. Her voice was strong and full of love. "Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Only death will part us." Ruth made a big promise. It was a promise that came from deep inside her heart. She was choosing to stay with Naomi, to love her and care for her, no matter what. Her love was a never-stopping, never-giving-up kind of love. So, the 2 friends, Naomi and Ruth, started their long journey. They walked and walked over dusty roads and under the hot sun. They didn't have much, just each other. But having each other was everything. When Naomi was tired, Ruth would help her. When Ruth was worried, Naomi would tell her stories. They were a team. They were heading to Bethlehem, Naomi's old home. It was a new beginning, but new beginnings can be scary. They didn't know what they would find there. But they knew they would face it together, hand in hand. When they finally arrived in Bethlehem, everyone was surprised to see Naomi. "Is it really you?" they asked. Naomi felt sad. She told them her life had been very hard. But Ruth was there, right by her side, a quiet and strong helper. They found a small place to live, but they had no food. Their tummies rumbled. Ruth, being brave and resourceful, had an idea. "I will go to the fields," she said. "The workers are gathering the harvest. Maybe I can pick up the leftover grain that they drop. That way we will have something to eat." Ruth went to a big, beautiful field. It was full of golden barley shining in the sun. The workers were busy cutting the grain. Ruth worked very hard. She followed the workers and bowed down to pick up every little piece of grain she could find. It was hard work under the hot sun. Her back was sore and her hands were tired. But she didn't complain, she just kept thinking about Naomi. She wanted to bring home enough food so they could make bread. Her love for Naomi gave her strength to keep going, to keep working, to keep hoping. All day long, Ruth gathered the leftover grain. She was careful and respectful. She didn't get in anyone's way. She just quietly did her work. Other people might have felt it was a small and unimportant job, but Ruth did it with a happy heart. She knew she was doing something very important. She was taking care of the person she loved. Every piece of grain she picked up was like a little piece of hope. She was gathering hope for their future, one piece at a time, in that big, sunny field of gold. Now the owner of that big golden field was a very kind man named Boaz. He was a relative of Naomi's husband. Boaz came to his field to see how the harvest was going. He noticed Ruth right away. He saw how hard she was working. He saw her gentle spirit. He asked his workers, "Who is that young woman?" They told him, "She is the one who came back with Naomi. She has been working all day without a rest." Boaz's heart was touched by her story, and by her loyalty to Naomi. Boaz went to talk to Ruth. "Stay in my fields," he said with a kind smile. "You don't need to go anywhere else. Stay close to my workers. I've told them to be kind to you. And when you are thirsty you can drink the water they have drawn." He was being so very kind to her, a stranger in a new land. Ruth was so surprised. She bowed low to the ground and asked, "Why are you being so kind to me? I am just a foreigner." Boaz was making her feel safe and welcome. Boaz answered her gently. "I have heard all about what you have done for your mother-in-law, Naomi," he said. "I know how you left your own family and your own country to come and live with her. May the Lord, the God you have come to trust, reward you for your kindness." At lunchtime, Boaz invited Ruth to eat with him and his workers. He gave her roasted grain, so much that she had some left over to take home to Naomi. He made sure she was looked after and had plenty to eat. That evening, Ruth went home with a huge bundle of grain. It was like a little mountain. When Naomi saw how much Ruth had brought, her eyes opened wide with surprise. "Where did you work today?" she asked. "Who was so kind to you?" Ruth told her all about the kind man named Boaz. Naomi's heart filled with joy and hope. She saw that God was watching over them. He was sending help through the kindness of Boaz. It was like the sun was starting to peek through the dark clouds. Naomi knew that Boaz was a special kind of relative, one who could help them and protect them. She gave Ruth some wise advice, and Ruth listened carefully. Following Naomi's plan, Ruth showed Boaz that she wanted to be part of his family. Boaz was a good and honorable man. He was happy and promised to take care of everything. He wanted to marry Ruth and give her and Naomi a safe and happy home. He saw the goodness in Ruth's heart and wanted to make her his wife. Everyone could see that their love was a special gift, and so, Boaz married Ruth. It was a joyful wedding. The whole town of Bethlehem celebrated with them. Ruth, the girl from a faraway land who had shown so much love, now had a new home and a new family. Naomi was there, her heart overflowing with happiness. She was no longer sad and empty. Her life was full again. She had a daughter who loved her, and now she had a kind son in Boaz. God had turned her sadness into dancing. He had given her a happy ending she never could have imagined. Soon God gave Ruth and Boaz an even bigger blessing. They had a baby boy. They named him Obed. Oh, how Naomi loved that little baby. She would hold him and cuddle him and kiss his little cheeks. The women of the town said to Naomi, "Praise the Lord! He has given you a grandson to care for you. Your daughter-in-law Ruth, who loves you and is better to you than 7 sons, has given him birth." Naomi's arms, which had once been empty, were now full. Her heart, which had been broken, was now whole. The story of Ruth and Naomi is a beautiful picture of God's love. It shows us how friendship, loyalty, and kindness can change everything. Ruth chose to love Naomi, and God blessed her choice in a big, wonderful way. And their little baby Obed? He grew up and had a son named Jesse, and Jesse had a son named David, who became the greatest king. And many, many years later, from this same family, Jesus, the rescuer, would be born. It's all part of God's wonderful story, a story of a never stopping, never giving up, always and forever love.